Right now, like literally as you're listening to this, there is a very high probability that an algorithm is just quietly siphoning, I don't know, $8.99 out of your checking account.
Oh, absolutely. And the worst
You
part,
probably authorized it.
yeah, like 3 years ago.
Right. 3 years ago. So for this deep dive, I am adopting a very specific persona today.
Okay, let's hear it.
I am putting on the hat of an intensely ruthless, efficiency-focused financial auditor from the Daily Fiscal.
I love it. We need that energy today.
We really do. We are taking a hard, totally unsentimental look at your bank statements. Our mission today, and it is a mission, is a complete forensic audit of your financial plumbing to execute what we're calling an automated purge of phantom expenses.
Phantom expenses, yeah, this is the perfect term for it.
Right. And we're pulling this directly from some incredibly revealing research titled The Automated Purge: Reclaiming Wealth in the Subscription Economy.
It's such a vital topic because the reality we are unpacking today is it's often called death by 1,000 cuts. And it really has become this toxic undercurrent of the modern economy. Because, the narrative around personal finance usually hyper-focuses on the big ticket items.
Like a mortgage or...
The car payment, the student loans, right. But the research exposes a totally different reality. It isn't necessarily the massive purchases pushing people to the financial brink.
It's the microtransactions.
Exactly. It's the microtransactions. It's the $16.43 streaming service.
Yep.
The premium weather app, or, the gym membership you temporarily paused and then just subsequently forgot about.
Oh, the paused gym membership. The ultimate trap.
Right. These tiny leaks are secretly, systematically draining wealth.
So before we start, tearing out the pipes, we really have to understand why they are leaking in the first place. Because this isn't an accident, is it?
No, not at all.
Corporate America has intentionally designed this plumbing to leak. They've built these psychological traps right into the checkout process.
They absolutely have. I mean, the industry term for this is the negative option billing model.
The negative option.
Yeah, and to understand how pervasive it is, it helps to look at where it came from. Because a negative option isn't actually a new invention.
Yeah, it's been around forever.
Decades.
Yeah.
It originated with things like those old mail-order CD and book clubs.
Oh, man, I remember those.
Right. They would send you the album of the month, and if you didn't physically mail a postcard back saying no, they charged you for it.
You had to opt out.
Exactly. The default state, the negative option, was payment.
But back then, there was immense physical friction to that. Like, you had a cardboard box arriving at your front door to remind you.
Right, a physical object.
Today, the negative option has been totally weaponized by, digital APIs and cloud computing. It's practically invisible now.
That is the crucial difference.
Yeah.
The modern version relies entirely on human inertia combined with digital invisibility.
Yes.
Think about the classic 14-day free trial. You want to try a new productivity app or something.
Just to see if you like it.
Right. But to get past the gate, you have to hand over your credit card up front.
Always.
And the company is banking on the statistical certainty that you will forget to cancel before day 15.
They know you'll forget.
They count on it. The entire burden of action is placed on you, the consumer, to proactively sever the connection. If you do nothing, you just pay in perpetuity.
And the data shows this strategy is overwhelmingly successful. I mean, looking at the research, there was an analysis of 200 hypothetical budgets.
Oh, yeah. This stat is staggering.
It revealed that roughly 78% of people grossly underestimate their monthly subscription footprint. 78%.
It's huge.
That means the vast majority of us are walking around with zero accurate mental mapping of our recurring liabilities.
Well, it speaks to a fundamental flaw in human cognition called mental accounting.
Mental accounting. Okay, explain that.
Basically, our brains are simply not equipped to track highly fragmented, disconnected data points across dozens of different platforms.
Especially when they hit on random days.
Exactly. You got a charge on the 3rd, another on the 14th, 2 on the 28th. Your brain just can't consolidate that.
It's a digital roach motel. Getting in takes one click, boom, Apple Pay, but getting out is an entirely different story.
It really is.
Which leads to an important question from my auditor perspective. Is our inability to cancel these things just a symptom of us being lazy? Or is the friction we encounter an engineered feature of the system?
Oh, it is highly engineered. Just think about the user interface. Dark patterns deployed when you actually try to cancel.
The dark patterns, yes.
Let's say you do happen to spot an unfamiliar charge for, I don't know, $9.41 on your ledger.
Okay.
To eliminate that charge, first, you have to identify the merchant. Sometimes the name on the bank statement doesn't even match the app.
Right, it's like LLC Media Tech or something.
Exactly. Then you have to remember which of your 3 email addresses you used to sign up.
Oh, the worst.
After guessing the forgotten password and doing the whole two-factor authentication dance with your phone, you finally log in.
And the cancel subscription button is never just sitting there on the dashboard. You have to hunt for it. You click account, then you click billing, then manage plan, and eventually you find a tiny, low-contract gray hyperlink buried at the bottom of the page.
And even then,
Right. Even then, they hit you with 3 successive screens asking, "Are you sure? What if we offer you 2 months free?"
yeah, that maze is designed specifically to exploit your cognitive load. You hit that wall of friction, and your brain does this rapid subconscious cost-benefit analysis.
You just think, my time and energy today are worth more than the frustration of saving $9.
I'll deal with this weekend. That's what everyone says.
But the weekend comes and goes.
Always. And that specific psychological friction is happening across half a dozen apps simultaneously. That is how the negative option works. It fatigues you into submission.
Okay, so if human psychology is the vulnerability here, and manual tracking is clearly a bust, I mean, sitting at the kitchen table with a highlighter and 90 days of printed CSV files.
Yeah, nobody is doing that.
Right, it has far too much behavioral friction for the average person. So if corporate algorithms are quietly siphoning our money, we have to escalate our tactics.
We do.
We need to fight tech with tech.
Exactly. And this brings us to the core operational shift, the machine learning audit.
Okay, put my auditor hat firmly back on. This is where things get genuinely exciting.
Right. Because if our brains are too exhausted to manage the fragmented data, we just deploy automation to do the heavy lifting.
The research points to platforms like Rocket Money, which used to be Truebill and Monarch Money, as the heavy machinery for this job.
Yes, those are the big players.
But how are these tools actually mapping the plumbing? I know they use Plaid APIs to pull the data, but I'm assuming it takes more than just an open pipe to categorize the mess.
It requires a massive amount of computational filtering. But let's start with the connection itself, because security is usually the first hurdle for people.
Right. People are nervous about linking their bank accounts.
Naturally. But when you link your bank to one of these auditing platforms, you aren't handing over your username and password to Rocket Money.
Okay.
Plaid acts as a secure, encrypted intermediary. It uses a tokenized OAuth protocol.
Which essentially means what for the layman?
It means it grants read-only access to a specific stream of data. The app can see the ledger, but it cannot move your money.
Okay, so the read-only pipeline is open. Thousands of line items are pouring in. How does the system actually know the difference between a recurring subscription and just a random charge?
Good question.
Like if I spend $15 at a local deli, and then a week later a $15 charge hits for a streaming service, how does the algorithm differentiate them?
That is where the machine learning models earn their keep. The algorithm isn't just looking at the dollar amount. It analyzes a matrix of data points for every single transaction.
Okay.
First, it looks at the merchant category code and the specific vendor ID string. Then it runs a frequency analysis.
Meaning it looks back in time.
Exactly. It checks the temporal variance. Did this exact charge from this exact vendor happen 30 days ago? What about 60 days ago?
So it's essentially looking for the heartbeat of the subscription.
Precisely. It filters out the noise of your daily spending, the deli sandwiches, the gas station runs, and isolates the rhythmic recurring charges.
And then it checks it against a database.
Yes, it compares those merchant strings against a massive, continuously updated global database of known subscription models.
Wow.
And within seconds, it transforms a chaotic ledger into a clean, unified subscription calendar. And let me tell you, looking at that calendar for the first time,
It's terrifying, right?
is often a deeply alarming experience.
I can imagine. It's just a wall of logos representing things you probably haven't thought about in years. But let me put my auditor skepticism front and center for a second.
Bring it on.
These tools sound phenomenal. An algorithmic army hunting down ghost subscriptions? But nothing in the fintech world is truly free. They are businesses.
Very true.
So what is the catch?
You are absolutely right to look for the hidden cost. While the initial visibility, the API sync and the machine learning categorization might be free, the monetization happens when you utilize their advanced execution features.
Like what?
Specifically, the cancellation concierges and the bill negotiation tools.
Wait, they actually negotiate bills on your behalf? How does that even work?
It's essentially automated arbitration. Let's say the algorithm flags that you are paying $200 a month for your internet provider.
Okay.
You hit a button to negotiate. The app's back-end team, which uses a combination of scripts, historical success data, and direct lines to retention departments, they contact the telecom company for you.
And say what?
They threaten to cancel, or they demand the current promotional rate applied to your legacy account.
That is incredibly aggressive, and I kind of love it.
Right. It's brilliant, and they're highly effective. But let's say they successfully get your internet bill reduced, saving you $400 over the next year.
Okay, here comes the catch.
Here is the catch you were looking for. They charge an upfront success fee,
Ah, so they take a cut.
a substantial cut. You typically control it via a slider toggle in the app, but they will take anywhere from 30% to 60% of your first year savings.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if they save you $400, they might immediately charge your card an upfront fee of $120 to $240.
That is a big chunk. So you are paying a steep premium for the convenience.
You are.
But mathematically, you are still coming out ahead over the long term.
Exactly.
You just have to weigh that upfront success fee against the honest reality of your own habits. Like, without the app, would you ever have actually spent 2 hours on hold with customer retention to get that discount yourself?
Right. For most people, the answer is a definitive no.
Never gonna happen.
Which brings us to the actual mathematics of the purge. Once the API has mapped the leaks, it's time to quantify the damage. Why does a seemingly trivial leak actually matter?
Well, let's run the numbers on a highly specific hypothetical scenario to really illustrate this.
Okay, let's do the math.
So, the audit finishes, and it uncovers 4 invisible leaks. First, a forgotten language learning app at $12.99 a month.
Ah, yes. The ghosts of our aspirational past. You were totally going to learn Italian before vacation 3 years ago.
I really was, but I didn't. Second leak, a duplicate streaming service. Let's say you are paying directly for Netflix at $15.49 a month, completely forgetting that you actually receive a bundled Netflix account for free through your cellular
That
carrier.
happens so often.
Third leak, a premium weather app for $4.99 a month.
Which is wild.
Right. A $5 a month weather app. Keeping that active is like buying the world's most expensive wealth-destroying umbrella. Just look out the window.
Seriously.
And finally, let's say they use the concierge tool to knock $35 a month off an AT&T gigabit fiber plan. When we tally up the monthly recapture from those 4 items, it comes to $68.47.
Now, human intuition will look at $68 and shrug. This doesn't sound life-changing.
It sounds like, a decent dinner out.
Exactly. And this is where a psychological concept called temporal discounting tricks us.
Temporal discounting.
Yes. Our brains place a much higher value on the immediate present moment than on the distant future. We see a $5 monthly charge, and our brain registers it as a completely negligible, almost zero-impact event today.
Right. It's just $5.
But we fail to intuitively calculate the compounding weight of that over time.
We have to force the perspective shift. When you annualize that $68.47, it becomes $821.64 a year.
Over $800.
That is a significant amount of capital just vanishing into the ether.
And the true damage isn't just the $800 you lost this year. It is the opportunity cost.
Yeah. The opportunity cost.
What? Yes. The cost of what that capital could have achieved if it had been directed toward wealth creation instead of, corporate leakage.
So we are talking about the cumulative compound savings. What happens if we take that reclaimed cash flow and put it to work?
If you run the math on this, the opportunity cost is staggering. If you divert that $821 annually into a broad market investment, like a low-cost S&P 500 ETF, the dynamic completely changes.
Okay, wait, real quick. Since we're talking about market returns, I have to step in as the auditor and give the disclaimer.
Please do.
These are hypothetical models based on historical averages. We aren't your personal financial advisors, and obviously, all investing involves risk. You cannot guarantee a specific return. Always consult a professional.
Absolutely. Good call. But assuming a conservative 7% historical average return, if you maintain that simple purge over a decade,
Just 10 years.
yes, it yields roughly $11,350 in newly generated wealth.
Over $11,000. And let's be super clear about what it took to generate that. You didn't ask your boss for a raise.
No.
You didn't start driving for a rideshare company on the weekends. You didn't even change your daily standard of living or sacrifice anything you actually use.
You literally just patched the invisible leaks in the plumbing.
That is the profound power of compounding. When capital isn't quietly draining from your accounts to prop up tech valuations, it can loudly and aggressively work for you.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so the theory makes perfect sense. The psychology of the trap is clear, and the math is undeniable. But as any good auditor will tell you, a great spreadsheet means absolutely nothing without execution.
Theory without practice is useless.
Exactly. So if I'm sitting here realizing I probably have an $800 leak, what is the operational protocol? How do I actually stop the bleeding today without falling back into the same mental traps?
Okay, the transition from theory to practice requires strict rules because we have to override our tendency to bargain with ourselves.
The bargaining phase.
Yes. So the protocol starts with visibility.
Yeah.
You have to initiate the sync, connect the primary checking account and the credit cards to the algorithmic tracker. You absolutely cannot manage what you cannot see.
Okay, so I've plugged in the API, and my screen is suddenly lit up with 15 forgotten subscriptions. My immediate instinct is to start negotiating with myself.
Of course it is.
I look at the language app and think, well, I've paid for it this long. I should probably keep it and actually use it next month. How do we override that?
By enforcing a ruthless metric known as the 30-day rule.
The 30-day rule, okay.
Once the algorithm categorizes your recurring list, you must cancel any service you have not actively logged into or genuinely engaged with in the last 30 days.
I have to push back here. No exceptions.
None.
What about the aspirational gym membership? I haven't gone in a couple months because work has been crazy, but I am entirely committed to going next week. If I cancel it, I feel like I'm giving up on a major health goal.
From an efficiency standpoint, there are zero exceptions. Zero. The moment you start making emotional exceptions for your aspirational self, you are giving the negative option billing model exactly what it was designed to extract.
Ouch.
Behavioral friction is your enemy here. Think about it. You can always sign up for the gym again next week when you are physically standing in the lobby ready to lift weights.
Right.
It'll take you 2 minutes to reactivate. But until that physical moment occurs, you cancel it.
That is a tough pill to swallow because it forces you to confront the reality of your habits rather than the fantasy of your intentions.
It does. It's brutal, but it works.
But I get it. We sever the ties. We survive the purge. Now, there has to be a final move here, right? Because if I just cancel the apps, that extra $68 a month is just going to sit in my checking account.
Which means it will inevitably be absorbed by lifestyle creep.
Oh, totally.
You'll spend it on an extra coffee or a slightly nicer lunch, and you will never see that $11,000 of wealth creation.
So what's the final step?
The final essential move is to deploy the reclaimed margin.
You have to automate the redirection of the cash.
Exactly. You take the exact dollar amount of the subscriptions you vaporized, that $68, and you immediately set up an automated monthly transfer of that size to a high-yield savings account or a brokerage account.
Capture it before you spend it.
You have to capture the margin before you even notice it's there.
Wow. So what does this all mean for us moving forward? The verdict is crystal clear. Conducting this ruthless automated purge isn't just some satisfying weekend admin project.
No, it's foundational.
It is essentially step zero for reclaiming your wealth from the ambiguous black hole of the subscription economy. You cannot build a durable financial future on a foundation of leaky pipes.
You really can't. And thinking about how we fix those pipes raises a really provocative question about where personal finance is heading in general.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the landscape we've just mapped out today. Corporate America is using sophisticated software architectures, dark UX patterns, and machine learning to quietly siphon small amounts of capital from our bank accounts.
Right.
And in response, the only truly effective method we have found to combat this is to deploy our own financial tech algorithms and our own machine learning models to block them.
It's literally bots fighting bots over our wallets.
That is exactly what it is. It begs the question, are we entering an era where personal finance is no longer fundamentally about human discipline and willpower?
Wow.
Is it simply becoming an invisible, ongoing cyber war between our personal AI agents and corporate AI agents, with our checking accounts serving as the battlefield?
That is an incredible thought to end on. We are essentially just sitting on the sidelines trying to live our lives while the algorithms fight over our $8.99.
Pretty much.
The takeaway is obvious. You have to make sure your AI is armed, configured, and ready for the fight. So, to you listening, take a page out of the daily fiscal playbook today. Look at your ledger purely through the lens of efficiency, run the audit, and patch those leaks. Stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.